What is up, lovers of budget cars and bikes? Welcome back to the channel and to another product review. Yes, we are in the kitchen, which can mean only one thing. We have been sent something out to take a look at. Today, we are going to be unboxing the XTool D5S, the smart diagnostic system, which is a budget scanner. So if you are in the market for a budget scanner, keep watching. This might be of interest. Alright guys, as I said, this is the brand new offering from XTool. We haven't actually looked at anything from XTool in the past, although I do know a little bit about the company. I have seen them advertising their wares, as it were, all over Amazon and AliExpress, that kind of stuff. Needless to say, they are a Chinese company, and this is their new offering, the D5S. It is advertised as a smart diagnostic system. So what can we tell you about it before we start unboxing? It has the FDFCA capabilities, which, if you know anything about that, basically means all the new modern cars from kind of 2020 onwards, it will also scan those, because some of the budget scanners actually won't do that. They do the kind of post-1996 up to kind of 2000, shall we say, but or maybe a little bit longer than that. But if you've got the FD/FCA capability, it just means that if you've got a more modern car, this will probably be okay for you. It has 15 service reset functions, including ABS, oil changes, all that kind of good stuff. We will have a look at that in a second. It also comes with lifetime updates over the air as well, which is a nice little feature to have with one of these. Basically, you will never have to buy an update, and it also comes with a 2-year warranty, which is fantastic. You will have to register it as well before you can use it, connect it to your Wi-Fi. So let's get the box open and we'll see exactly what's inside. Of course, there's not going to be a huge amount inside. This is a budget scanner. Up above here, we will have a quick starter guide, I'm assuming. It'll tell you that there's a tablet in there with a Type-C cable, a VGA to OBD2, which is what you would expect, and some kind of barcodes, QR codes. Not anything that I'm going to be overly interested in at the moment. There is the scanner. It comes in a kind of little dust cover, as it were, here. Some people might consider that to be, I'm trying to do this one-handed, to be a protective cover. It's not. It's just a dust case, basically. Let's move that box out of the way a second. And there is the scanner. It is a 5.5-inch screen diagonally, of course. Let me just make sure that's focusing. There we go. That is a 5.5-inch screen. It is very small in the hand. I mean, there is my hand, there is the scanner, so it gives you an idea. All right, I'm quite a big geezer, I suppose, but yeah, it's not a massive one. I've seen bigger phones, but I kind of like that. If you're going to be using this in your car, if you just want to keep it in your car for emergencies, if anything unfortunate should occur, then this might be just exactly what you need. And okay, not much going on the bottom. I think we've actually got it upside down. There we go. There is a little catch here as well. We'll open that up, see exactly what we get in there. And it is a Type-C charging port and a SD card slot as well. It does come with 32 gigabytes of memory, which you can expand up to, I believe, 128 or by 128. So you would end up with well over 150 gigs if you needed it. I'm not entirely sure why you'd need 150 gigs worth of memory on a scanner for your car, personally. But it's nice that it's got it there. Little power button, and there's your connection there. This is a hardwired scanner, not a Bluetooth one, which in some ways is better. I know some of you guys prefer that, because if you've got a Bluetooth one, then obviously you've got to make sure it's charged up all the time. With one of these, the more traditional kind of hardwired ones, as soon as you plug it in, it starts charging. I'm hoping there's going to be some battery power in here, so we'll quickly switch on the button and see what happens here. Okay, there we are. It is a 720p high definition screen by 1440, so it's not like mega high definition, but it does look pretty nice, I have to say. It's running Linux as well, which is a new thing for me. We're used to kind of Windows or Android based scanners, but this is a Linux system. I don't know what processor they use, if I'm honest. I mean, drop that in the comment section if you know more about Linux stuff, or Linux if you prefer. Drop that in the comment section. Let me know what you think this might be running processor wise. It's not super slow, it's not super fast, but then it's not super expensive either. So I guess you kind of expect that really, wouldn't you? There is the interface there. You've got your auto scan to auto scan your VIN, tell you what car you've got essentially, diagnosis, OBD2 functionality, special functions, which I'm assuming will be the service reset, the updates and more, which will probably be settings and that kind of stuff. Yeah, there we go. Diagnostic reports, stuff you've done in the past, your account. We've already set this up. I won't go into that now because I don't necessarily need to show you all my kind of info. Settings, as you would expect, Wi-Fi, display, storage, date and time, etc. I wonder if you can pull that down as well, because a lot of the times, just like a phone, no, you've actually physically got to go into the settings to adjust these kind of functions in here, which is fine. That is the interface basically for the D5S. Going back to the whole battery kind of situation here, it does have a 3150 milliamp battery, which I think you'd agree is perfectly fine. And it covers 15 different languages as well. So it should be okay for you. I mean, most people will use English, I imagine, anyway, but it's nice to have the option for 15 or so languages. I'm assuming that'll probably update itself, as will the manufacturer list, as time goes on, because as I said, it does have lifetime OTA updates. But that is the interface. So if we just pop into the diagnostics here, you'll see on the left-hand side, you can register your vehicle, so it just goes straight to that every time. You've got American cars here from Buick, GMC, Jeep, etc. Then you'll go into the Asian market, the Japanese cars. Not quite sure what happened there, guys. It decided to do an update of some description, but as you can see, we went into the American market. We are now into the Asian market, and we've even got Chinese market, Europe, and Australia. There's all sorts going on in there. Quite a few manufacturers covered, which is always nice to see. The OBD2, obviously, they'll start trying to connect, but it won't be able to because we haven't got anything actually connected to the car yet. As you can see, we're in the kitchen. And then special functions. Inside here, you will find your ABS bleeding, your BMS reset, which is your battery, your EGR relearn, which is reset, I guess, in that respect, your electronic parking brake, your steering, your DPF. Oh, hold on, we've gone out of there. The one thing I will say is it's very, very sensitive, this screen. You've got to be really kind of dedicated to what you want to press, because it can kind of go off kilter slightly. Maintenance light reset, which is always nice, kind of an oil reset. We've got injector coding, which is always nice. Window initialization, see, there it goes again. Every time I try to touch here, it always ends up taking me back to there. I'm not interested in that. Maybe it's my thumbs, maybe I'm just a big old boy and my thumbs are too big for this tiny little screen. See, it's just done it again there. That is going to get real tiring real quick. That's the first negative I found, is this touch screen here is far too sensitive for my hands. Anyway, that is the special functions. We'll go into that a little bit more when we get into the car and I can hold it up a little bit better. The one thing I don't like, which I don't like about any of these cheap scanners, these budget scanners as I would call it, there's no kind of hook on the back. There's no kind of lever like so, which means that when you're in the car, you've physically got to hold the scanner, and then when you've got the cable coming out the top, it can be a bit cumbersome. I don't like that. I'd like to see a little kind of hook bracket over the top. It doesn't cost much, and I will never understand why all these budget scanner manufacturers just don't put a bloody thing on the back of it to help you, because you're going to be in the car. It's got to be connected to the OBD port, ergo you need to be in the car. So make it easy for us. Put a little hook on the back of it so we can actually hook it over the steering wheel. In the box, the Type-C charger and the VGA cable, and that is pretty much it. That's pretty much all you get in the box. It is, after all, a budget scanner. We will pop out to the Nissan Qashqai Mark II, I think we've got now at the moment. We'll plug this in and we'll try to give you an overview of what's going on there, because obviously we can check things like live data feed and all that good stuff. So that is the D5S unboxing, as it were, and the first starter. We'll pop out to the car now, put it through its tests and see what we think of it. So we are out in the Nissan. I have actually just tried to do an auto scan and it came back with an error saying your vehicle cannot be recognised automatically via the VIN, etc, etc. I don't think that's the XTool problem. I think that's probably this car being a 2012. Sometimes these budget scanners, and if I'm honest, even the most expensive scanners, can't do an auto VIN detect on this car, or they couldn't do it on the RAV4 as well. They much prefer a more modern car. Anyway, that's not what we're going to whinge change about today. We couldn't do the auto scan, as I said. I think that's probably this car. So we are going to take a little look at the diagnostic software inside here. As you can see, and we showed you in the kitchen, we've got my vehicle, America, Asia, Australia, I think there's Canada in there, etc, etc. We want to go to Asia. I'm hoping my finger isn't going to mess this up again. We'll go to Nissan and it will try to communicate. I do apologize about the loud beep, but it's going to make sure that everything is as it should be. We know we can't do the automatic detection, so we will have to manually select, and this is a Japanese car. Full disclosure, I had a look for Qashqai. Now, oddly enough, this doesn't have a Qashqai in this list. In amongst all of these little Japanese cars and all these Nissans, as it were, there is no Qashqai. It doesn't exist. So what I had to do is Google what the Qashqai is called in other countries. Turns out it's called a Julis. So, yeah, and I know we're in a J10, so there we go. That's not great, is it, really? If it can't even pick up a Nissan Qashqai. They've been around for, crikey, 14 years, and it just couldn't pick it up. It's bizarre. And this menu here also doesn't seem to be overly brilliant because it's 2012 to 06. I mean, what does that mean? Should that not be 2006 to 2012? So that's a bit confusing. I'm assuming we need to be here because we are in a 2012 J10. Automatic scan, we will have a little look. It will carry on doing what it's doing. It looks like it's if you look up in this top right corner here, it's on 3 of 4 so far. And that's all it's come back with, anti-lock brake system and airbag. I'm not quite sure what that's done, if I'm honest. It doesn't really seem to have done very much. Do you want to exit the auto scan? Yep. Alrighty, we'll have a little look at system selection. So we can go into the engine here, communication initializing. We'll have a little look at that. Failure of communication. Well, as you can see, the ignition is on and data connected diagnostics on. Yeah, okay, well, he doesn't like that, so that's not brilliant. We had a look at the anti-lock brake system and the airbag. There was no problem there. There's no point in trying to work out what's going on with the transmission because we are parked up. So yeah, that's interesting. We've gone all the way through there. It didn't have Qashqai. You have to use Dulas, which, as I said, is a bit pants, really. We've got to go all the way back out of here. We'll have a little look at the OBD2 functionality, see what's going on in there, see if that gives us a better overview. And what on earth is all that? I have absolutely no idea which one of these is mine because the auto scan doesn't work. We'll try the top one, see what that comes back with. Failed to connect, so it's not that one. We'll just keep going down, basically, and see if it connects to any of them. Okay, so it turns out it's the last one, this one down here. That's the only one that actually managed to connect. I was thinking, well, this is useless. It's not actually going to do anything. But inside there, we've got the read the trouble codes. We've already done that. There's nothing in there, so we'll pop back out of there. Clear the trouble codes, obviously. Then we've got live data, which I'm sure if you're looking at this, you'll know exactly what goes on with the live data. You can effectively choose exactly what you want to see on your graph, as it were. That is pretty much all I can show you. Let me just zoom out ever so slightly. There we go. That is pretty much all I can show you about the XTool in situ, as it were, in the car. We'll pop back inside the house now. I'll put it back in its box and we'll close out the video. I'll give you my honest opinion and overthoughts of the D5S and tell you whether you should buy one. So let's get back in the warmth and we'll close out the video. So as I said, guys, that is the D5S from XTool. Thank you so much to those guys for sending that out. I'm hoping we will collaborate on other scanners as well and other kind of diagnostic stuff that they sell, because they do sell a lot of stuff. They have been around a very, very long time, and I know they make some amazing equipment, and I think they've reached out with this kind of budget scanner just to see what we think of it, what we can do with it, essentially. So what do I think of it? Well, pros and cons in that respect. I'm a bit confused about why it didn't have the Qashqai in there and you had to basically look up what your car was called in different countries. Not quite sure what that's all about. I'm a bit confused about the Linux system in there as well. I do prefer an Android system, if I'm honest, but it's not like it's a bad system. It's just I'm a bit confused why people are still using Linux in scanners when seemingly there are better options. It's not overly colourful, it's just a very generic looking blue and grey. But, you know, at the end of the day, you're not going to be there looking at this all day thinking how pretty it is. It is very compact, very small, as we've discussed. There's my hand and there's the scanner. It is a small budget scanner, and I think it does its job pretty well. If you just want to spend around about 120 quid, I think these are now, check the description for discount codes as well, because there are bound to be some in there. But I think they're going to be around about 120 quid, and free lifetime updates plus a 2-year warranty. I think that's actually quite a good price because of the special functions which we spoke about, which we'll click into again there. As you can see, I think there are 15 special functions. It's my hand. At least we know now that it wasn't the screen that was messing up just now. It's my hand. Obviously, it doesn't like my orientation, as it were. But as we discussed outside in the car anyway, we can go into the special functions, which there are 15 of. So you can reset your oil service light, which is always a useful function. If it pops up on your dash, just get rid of it. If you need to put in a new battery, again, just get rid of it. A garage will charge you probably 50 quid to do that. So if you need to do a couple of things and you want to keep a scanner in your glove box for any potential problems in the future, this could be a worthwhile investment. As I said, there are some things I like, some things not quite so much. I think they could have put a better screen on there quality wise. 720 is a little bit old hat these days, isn't it, really? And I think they could have made just the user interface just a little bit prettier. I think it just looks a bit meh. But apart from that, I think it's a worthwhile investment if you just want a generically kind of functional budget scanner. You can't go far wrong than the D5S from XTool. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I hope it's been of some assistance to you. If you've got any questions whatsoever, pop them in the comments section below. The links, as I said, will be in the description. And if you're into your scanners and stuff, budget and far more high-end as well, check the playlist out as well. We've got a diagnostic scanner kind of playlist where loads of diagnostic and OBD2 and all sorts of stuff going on in there. So it might be worth having a little look at that if you haven't already. But from Budget Cars and Bikes, that is the D5S from XTool. I hope you enjoyed it. Consider subscribing, give the video a like, a share, a thumbs up. Really, really important. Really, really helps me out, guys. I much appreciate it. But as I said, from Budget Cars and Bikes, we are done. We are going back and having a nice cup of coffee because it's a winter's day and I'm bloody freezing. As I said, hope you enjoyed it. We'll catch up soon, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.